Welcome back. After his time with the elders of the church of Ephesus, Paul continued on toward Jerusalem. We next see his interaction with the believers in Tyre. It occurs in Acts 21 from verses 1 to 6, where we read, "Now it came to pass that when we had departed from them and set sail, running a straight course, we came to Kos, the following day to Rhodes, and from there to Patara. And finding a ship sailing over to Phoenicia, we went aboard and set sail. When we had sighted Cyprus, we passed it on the left, sailed to Syria, and landed at Tyre. For there the ship was to unload her cargo. And finding disciples, we stayed there 7 days. They told Paul, through the Spirit, not to go up to Jerusalem. When we had come to the end of those days, we departed and went on our way. And they all accompanied us with wives and children, till we were out of the city, and we knelt down on the shore and prayed. When we had taken our leave of one another, we boarded the ship, and they returned home." First, I want to note that we do not read that Paul ever had been to Tyre before as a believer. In fact, we're told in this passage that when they landed at Tyre, that they looked to see if there were any believers in Tyre. And, quote, "finding disciples, we stayed there 7 days," end quote. Note the bond and brotherhood of believers. The believers in Tyre, though they had never met Paul and his companions, however many they were, immediately took Paul and the others into their homes, showing them great hospitality. While there, they must have spent time together in prayer, for we're told that the people, quote, told Paul, through the Spirit, not to go to Jerusalem. Lord willing, we'll consider their comment in our next meditation. But for now, I'd like us to once again consider the importance of prayer as an outflow of the intimacy of the fellowship of the church. Note that when the time came for Paul and his companions to leave, the entire church, including the wives and children, accompanied them down to the shore where the men would board their ship. Then there, on the shore, they all knelt and prayed. What a testimony that must have been. Remember, they went there to the shore in order to board the ship. That means that there was at least one ship and her crew observing this prayer meeting. Could you imagine what it would have been like to be one of those guys on that ship, watching this procession of people coming to the shore, and then as they get to the shore, stopping, circling up, getting on their knees, and praying together? What a prayer meeting that must have been. When was the last time you and the group you were with decided to hold a prayer meeting in a public location? Do you thank the Lord for your food when you're in a restaurant? What about when you are with another believer or with your family? Do you pray together, out loud? Or do you just take a moment to pause so that nobody around you really notices that you're doing it? We are a testimony in everything that we do. When we pray in public, we, in a way, are taking a stand for Christ and growing in our boldness to represent Him. Oh, and if you decide to start praying in a restaurant, remember to leave a good tip. And maybe a tract for the waiter or waitress as an additional testimony. We hate to leave them a bad taste in their mouth for those who are praying people. But I encourage you to be bold in your willingness to pray. Jesus told us not to pray in public, but to pray in private. However, that's only if all we're doing is praying in public as a show to others. But our prayer in private should become such a part of our life that it's a relationship with our Father, that even when we're out in public, we want to give him praise and glory and thanks for what he has done, even when others are watching us, not because others are watching us. Take time to pray and have a blessed day.